Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're heading out, virtually at least, to California. We're focusing on a real titan of nature.
The General Sherman Tree.
Exactly.
Wow.
And the trail leading up to it in Sequoia National Park. So whether you're actually planning a trip, dreaming about it, or just curious about, well, the world's largest tree by sheer volume,
Then this is for you.
you're definitely in the right place.
It's fascinating, too, because you might think, okay, biggest tree, maybe tallest or whitest.
Right, like the coast redwoods or maybe those baobabs.
Yeah, but General Sherman, it gets its title purely from its incredible volume. That single trunk just holds a massive amount of wood, more than any other living tree we know of.
It's just mind-boggling bulk, not about just one dimension. And to really get a handle on this giant and maybe spark some travel ideas for you, we've pulled info from the National Park Service, naturally.
Yeah. Some local sources, too. Wikipedia for the stats.
And even a hiker's perspective, someone
Yeah.
who shared their experience online, which is always great context. So our mission for this deep dive is simple. Give you a really engaging look at the General Sherman Tree and Trail. We'll cover history, highlights, some surprising facts. Basically everything to get you excited about maybe seeing it yourself.
Sounds good.
Okay, so boots on the ground, figuratively speaking. If you were planning that trip, where exactly is this colossal tree?
Right. It's nestled in the giant forest area of Sequoia National Park. That's in Tulare County, California.
Okay.
If you're driving the General's Highway, you'll find it south of the road heading to Wolverton. It's roughly maybe 2 miles north of the Giant Forest Museum.
So pretty central within that whole giant forest museum.
Exactly. Right in the heart of Sequoia country.
Now, planning is key for parks like this. Getting there, parking. How's that work for the Sherman Tree? Is it easy to access?
Yeah, they've got a couple of main ways in. There's the main parking lot, which is off Wolverton Road.
Okay.
From there, it's a paved trail, about 0.8 miles, mostly downhill to the tree, which is nice. And that path has some cool exhibits along the way, explains a bit about the sequoia life cycle and stuff.
Oh, that's neat. Adds to the walks.
It does. But the key thing to remember, that walk back from the tree to the main lot.
It's going to be uphill.
It is definitely uphill.
Good to know, especially at that altitude. What if someone has mobility issues, though? Is there another option?
Yes, thankfully. There's an accessible parking area right off the General's Highway itself.
Ah,
If you have a disability placard, you can park there. And from that spot, it's a really short, wheelchair-accessible path directly to the General Sherman. Very straightforward.
that's fantastic.
Plus, during the main season, when the park shuttles are running, that accessible trailhead is one of the stops. So that's another easy way.
The shuttle's an option, too.
And get this, sometimes, even in winter, like on certain holiday weekends, if there's snow, they might run a special winter shuttle from different points in the park to the Sherman Tree Trail.
Wow. They really try to make it accessible year-round when possible. That's great.
Seems like it, yeah.
So it sounds like they've really thought about getting different folks to the tree. Excellent. Okay, so you've parked, you're ready to hit the trail. What's the walk itself like?
Well, the main trail, like we said, 0.8 miles paved, downhill, lots of good info signs, makes the walk down pretty interesting.
Right, learning as you go.
Exactly. And the accessible trail is, much shorter, more direct. If you're doing the main trail, the round trip from that main parking lot is about 1.4 miles.
Okay.
To really sort of soak it all in, maybe take some photos, read the signs, you
Wow.
probably want to allow about an hour and a half.
An hour and a half, that feels right. It gives you time to actually be there, not just rush in and out.
Yeah, exactly. It's a place you want to linger a bit.
And it's not just the official descriptions that paint the pictures. We had that hiker's comment.
That's right. Someone on Reddit mentioned visiting, I think it was over the 4th of July weekend.
Peak season.
Oh, yeah. And they pointed out, unsurprisingly, that it gets really popular. So getting that perfect, unobstructed photo right at the base of the tree might take some patience, might involve some crowds.
It's a good expectation to set. It shows how iconic it is, I suppose.
Absolutely. It draws people from all over the world.
Okay, let's talk about the tree itself, the main attraction, those stats.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty wild, aren't they?
They really are. Okay, so height. It's about 275 feet tall. That's nearly 84 meters.
Wow.
But the circumference around the base of the ground, over 102 feet.
Like 31 meters around?
Yeah.
Just math.
Huge. And the diameter, straight across the base, is over 36 feet. 11 meters.
Hard to even picture.
Right. And even if you go 60 feet up the trunk, it's still over 17 feet thick.
Incredible.
Remember that huge branch that fell off back in 2006?
Yeah.
That single branch had a diameter of almost 7 feet, thicker than most regular trees are wide.
That's insane. just a branch.
Exactly. And the first really big branch doesn't even start until you're 130 feet up.
So the main trunk is just this massive column.
Colossal column. The average width of the crown, the leafy part at top, is about 106 feet across. And the big number, the estimated volume of wood in the main trunk. Get ready.
Okay.
Over 52,500 cubic feet. That's nearly 1,500 cubic meters.
52,000
Yeah.
cubic feet. It's just impossible to visualize, really.
It really is. Think of a building's worth of wood, almost in one tree trunk.
And it's not like it's finished, right? It's still growing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's still putting on wood every single year. The Park Service figures it adds enough new wood annually to basically make another 60-foot-tall tree.
Every year.
Every year. That continuous growth over centuries, millennia even, it's just remarkable.
A living engine of wood production. So a tree this old, this big, it's seen some history. How old is it actually? And the name? General Sherman.
Well, the age estimates vary a bit, as you'd expect, but scientists generally place it somewhere between 2,000 and 2,700 years old.
2,000 years old.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Yeah. Think about that. It was a young tree when the Roman Empire was at its height. It's been standing there through so much of recorded human history.
That perspective is just,
Ooh.
wow.
As for the name, that came much later, obviously. In 1879, a naturalist named James Wolverton named it.
Wolverton, like the road.
Probably related, yeah. He'd served under General William Tecumseh Sherman in the Civil War, so naming the tree was a tribute to his old general.
Ah, a military connection.
Yeah.
But I think I read somewhere it had a different name for a bit.
He did. That's a really interesting little historical footnote. For a short time, starting around 1886, the land was part of something called the Sequoia colony.
Kauai colony.
Yeah, it was a kind of utopian socialist community. And apparently, because of General Sherman's controversial role in the Indian Wars, the colonists decided to rename the tree.
To what?
The Karl Marx tree.
No kidding.
Seriously. But it didn't last long. Sequoia National Park was established, the colony disbanded around 1892, and the name went back to General Sherman.
Huh. Karl Marx tree. That's a good trivia question.
Definitely. Then later, in 1931, it was officially designated the largest tree in the world, specifically based on that trunk volume measurement. That kind of set the standard.
Okay, so volume became the key metric. Beyond the naming drama and the sheer size, any other big moments in his long life? You mentioned that branch falling.
Right, the branch in 2006, that was huge news. Like we said, that branch alone was bigger than many mature trees. But importantly, the park experts didn't see it as a sign the tree was unhealthy.
Oh.
They thought it might be more of a natural adaptation, maybe shedding weight to improve stability as it ages, sort of self-pruning on a massive scale.
Interesting theory. Adapting even after 2,000 years.
Seems so. And then more recently, something quite dramatic happened in September 2021. Remember the K&T complex fire?
Vaguely, yeah. Big fires in California that year.
Huge. And firefighters took this really extraordinary step. They actually wrapped the base of the General Sherman tree in a special fire-resistant material, like a giant aluminum foil blanket.
Wow. Why? I thought sequoias were fire adapted.
They are, absolutely. Fire is actually crucial for them. It helps open their cones to release seeds, clears out underbrush.
Right.
But really intense fires, super hot ones, can still cause damage, especially at the base or in old fire scars. So wrapping it was a precaution, a way to protect this incredibly valuable, iconic tree from potentially severe damage.
Amazing image. Firefighters protecting the world's biggest tree with foil. It really highlights that complex relationship with fire. But there are other threats emerging now too, aren't there?
Unfortunately, yes. There's growing concern about bark beetles.
Ah, beetles. Heard about them affecting other forests.
Yeah, and the issue is linked to climate change. Hotter temperatures, prolonged droughts, they stress the sequoias, and weakened trees are just more vulnerable to beetle attacks.
So even these giants aren't immune.
Sadly, no. Some other large sequoias have actually been killed by beetles recently, but there's some encouraging news regarding the Sherman specifically.
Oh, good.
Just this past May 2024, researchers actually climbed up the General Sherman tree.
Climbed it. Wow.
Yeah, to do a thorough health check. And the assessment was that currently, General Sherman is healthy. It seems to be resisting the beetle attack so far.
That's a huge relief.
It is. But it shows how important ongoing monitoring is. We need to understand how these ancient trees are coping with modern pressures.
It really underscores our role as, caretakers. Yeah. Even for something so immense and ancient. Okay, so For listeners who are now definitely putting Sequoia on their list, once they'd seen the Sherman Tree, what else is nearby that's worth checking out?
Oh, absolutely. The Sherman Tree is amazing, but it's just the start in the giant forest. Right near it, you've got the Congress Trail.
Congress Trail.
Yeah, it's a paved loop about 2 miles, starts near the Sherman Tree, and it winds through just an incredible concentration of other massive sequoias. Great for photos, really immersive.
That's perfect. Anything shorter.
Definitely. The Big Trees Trail, it's about a mile, mostly flat, loops around a lovely meadow. Lots of interpretive signs there too, explaining the ecology. Really pleasant walk. And of course, you're not too far from Grant Grove. That's where you'll find the General Grant Tree.
The second largest.
That's the one, world's second largest tree. Worth seeing too, for comparison. And if you're up for longer hikes, maybe you want to get away from the main crowds a bit.
Yeah.
There are other groves like Redwood Canyon or Muir Grove. They offer more extensive trail systems, really let you get deeper into the Sequoia wilderness.
So plenty to make a full day or even multiple days out of it. Visiting the General Sherman isn't just a quick stop. It's a gateway to this whole incredible ecosystem.
Exactly. You can really immerse yourself in the land of giants.
It really does sound like a chance to connect with something ancient, something truly awe-inspiring, standing there looking up.
It's a perspective changer, for sure. You feel the weight of time, the power of nature. It's quite profound.
Well, hopefully, after diving deep with us today, you, our listener, feel a bit more prepared, maybe more inspired, to consider that trip to Sequoia National Park, to witness this giant for yourself.
It's an experience you won't forget.
And maybe, as a final thought to leave you with, consider this. The General Sherman has stood for millennia, weathering fires, storms, countless changes. Yet now, it faces new vulnerabilities tied to our modern climate. What does that tell us about our impact and our responsibility for its future, and for the future of all the incredible natural wonders on our planet?
Something to definitely think about. Maybe look into groups like the Sequoia Parks Conservancy, see the work being done.
Exactly. Food for thought as you plan your next adventure. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.